right, I am thrilled, super thrilled. We have NBA bets just populating right now. We have the tournament that is right around the corner. Ben Raza is going to pop in with us in a couple of minutes, but we're going to get to the NBA that's just jammed. But our lives have become incredibly easier. Everything that we've normally done, which is pretty simple. And if you're rolling with me here on the Coffee Bet Show, you know how we roll in the Parlay Builder, which is super simple. We just build. That's it, right? Like we go to the tools and say, what do you need us to do? And we do just that. In this particular case, it's even easier. Thank you to the dev team. Thank you to the people that are far smarter than me who have put together these updates. I'm not even going to waste any more time. Do you see what I'm doing here? There is now a button to generate parlays. Normally, what I would do is say, oh, okay, well, I like Tyrese Halliburton. Let's add him to the slip. I like Chet Holmgren. Let's add him to the slip. And, I like Laurie, right? Let's add him to the slip. Why? Because, well, let me at least explain where our edge comes from. It's a top-down market-based approach if you're brand new to what we're doing here. And you can see, okay, well, for example, this book particular where we're getting this is far better at plus 116 than the actual odds here. All right. We got to make sure that this can be seen. All right. Let's move this over here. It's a little tight. It's a little tight. That's fine. I'm really sure why I can't move that, but that's okay. So you can see right away, like, okay, Vooch, and I can even bet it over here on DraftKings. So that in its own right, we're able to see. Generate parlays. So I'm going to generate 10 parlays. This is incredible shit, man. Incredible. If you're new, hit the thumbs up button. If you're looking at where our edge comes from, again, it's as simple as this is on DK. And you can see, right? Maybe it's for Chet Holmgren because a lot of this stuff moves so fast. There we go. So it's on DK under 29.5 minus 120. All right. The actual retail price, the true odds of this are not that. Now we can't even see it, but it's around minus 104, something like that. This is going to be, let's unpin. Let's move. Okay. So here's what we do. Generate parlays. Number of parlays to generate, 10. I want to put out 10 parlays, and I want them at 3 legs each. And what I want to do is I want to limit the amount of times I can use any leg, like Vooch, for example, to 3. So I'm not going to have 4, 5, 6 parlays where Vooch is involved. And that's for everybody. So all I need to do is just fill this out. Show me 10. Look, I can put up to 100 if you need be. Show me 10 parlays all on my portfolio, 3 legs, bang it out. Generate parlays, and they're there. And they're there. Oh, my goodness. Good morning, Andy. I'm telling you, Andy, you, me, everybody else that's a part of this, our lives have just gotten so much easier out here. We've just been able to generate 10 parlays. This one at DraftKings. Yeah, bet it now, right? Like hit it on the tab. We go right over there and it's in there. Plus 885. Just as we have it here. This is insane shit, man. Insane stuff. We just opened this up. 886, 885, right? 13% EV. But these are all separate, right? Like this one is Market and Wallace and Brooks. This one is Wallace and Saar and Brooks. So there's just a little variance. There's just a small amount of variance. You get all 3, and this is essentially like building a round robin, but it's not connected. So you don't even get penalized in that. You've just built 10 straight parlays. Congratulations. You and I have just built 10 straight unique parlays. Saar, Holmgren, Vooch. Saar, Holmgren, Giddey. You can see how this thing rolls here, right? Now we can go back. We can keep messing around with this. This is great. We can sit here the entire time. I'm going to do 10 2-leg parlays. And again, this is based on what I have, right? My current filters here. All right. So we should be able to, there we go. Should be able to move this over. There we go. This here. There we go. We should be able to have the book too, right? Okay. Well, this is what we need anyway. This is the most important thing. There's always a bug. There's always a tweak. Who cares? The most important thing is generating the parlays. All right. So let's look at what we have. What variables does it consider? Gary, we're going to get to you in a second. Juan Garza, good morning. Gervin Michaels, the consistency. Guess what? The consistency is live. Okay. I'm going to show you this right here because I want to take down the DK and get back to this. And then we're going to build a parlay specific to Gervin. What's up, OB in the house? Good morning. Good morning. So we've got two questions pending, one from Gary and one from Gervin. Let's go back, though. I want to show you this again. This is brand new. This is a brand new update. 10 parlays you can generate. 2 legs each. All right. You want something monster? You want something more? We'll do 4 legs. I'm just going to refresh my portfolios. And if you want to look at, again, what the consistency, pardon me, short answer is this, where you have HROI, you have historical results to see, okay, well, I'm betting into this. And you can see exactly where you're betting into, right? 3.3% assists on DraftKings this year. That's the ROI. So those are the proven results. Everything we've posted that's been plus EV, that's been assists on DraftKings in this specific setting has returned to 3.3%. My portfolio that I created has returned to 3.3% positive ROI. So again, we're just here looking to generate parlays off this. 10 parlays, 4 legs. Let's limit it to 4. See what we get. It's on DK. That's where the majority of work is happening here. That's fine. We can build elsewhere. We didn't have enough to go deeper, but we still got 4. Based off of what I have available, I was still able to create 4 separate, unique parlays from 1251, 1374, 1047, 1151. So you can go right back to the parlay builder. That's fantastic. Both work exceptionally well. But in the case here, what we're doing is making life incredibly easier. I love this. This might be my favorite update of all time. Truly. My favorite update. Ben is in the house. Always appreciate the OG stepping in. OB from OG to OB up over 2,500 from February 19th to today. Look, this is the reality of the tools. It's all predicated on a couple of principles. One, you're getting the best price. So this is the parlay. This is where it is. Let's go back to it, right? Yeah, Banner, this shit is like life-changing right here, especially with time and energy and everything that's spent. So let me go back to my top bets. No, that's, you can check Banner on Tails. He's on Tails too, but he's also with us doing PEV stuff. So let's look at the update here. All right, so this is what I have. I'm going to remove my portfolios, and I'm just going to go to the NBA. So this is just what, and this is wide open. These, any books out there, right, that are just returning plus EV NBA. So Tyus Jones, this is how we know we're getting a good bet. Tyus Jones right now, over 6.5 at FanDuel is returning an edge. BetMGM is returning an edge. 5.5, 5.5. Those numbers, it might be lower than 6.5, but the number you're paying is ridiculous. Think of it like this, right? If I'm selling a pack of Oreos and I got 2 Oreos that I'm selling to you and I'm giving to you for a quarter, here's a quarter. That's all you need to pay me for a pack of 2 Oreos. And then I add a third Oreo and say, oh, I'll give you a third Oreo here, but I'm going to charge you $50. Now, this is an extreme, but I think it's a perfect way to encapsulate why just getting a better total or just getting something better from that standpoint, the number is different than what you're paying for the number. Minus 182 to go over 5.5 is egregious. And we've identified that as such. Over 6.5 at plus 125. Over 6.5 at plus 122. Yes. If you can play at this create a book at PointsBet, great. There's edge there. But that's where it begins with Tyus Jones. This is a fantastic bet. Just an absolutely beautiful bet. You know, truly a beautiful bet. Where's this bottom thing that I could move over? I'm going to ask Ben Raza when he pops up here. Because this thing here, it won't move for me either. But this is it. Like the entire show is this. Let's just generate parlays. The entire show is now this. All right, you got a boost. You got something you want to work through. You got questions. We'll build a portfolio in a second. We'll go through on all of that. But now we've just done this. All right, we're going to generate 10 parlays, 4 limit placed bet count, meaning no more than 4 parlays will Tyus Jones or any other individual player pop up. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got. Joey B is always in the house. Oh, by the way, the principles are this. The bet each leg, whatever parlay, what have you, but each leg solo parlay is putting it right back and beating the number that it should be. You're reinvesting your bankroll into high volume every night, and you're going to see profit. Simple as that. Simple as that. Man, you're not the first one to say that, right? And here's the thing. I've become, in like my mid-40s here, I've become this skinny fat where it's this midsection. It doesn't matter what I do. It's this midsection. But I'm working out. I'm trying to, do stuff there. And you'll see it around the face. Not that you want to look at my face. I don't blame you. You shouldn't. But I appreciate you, Joey. Absolutely. Here. Yeah, this is insane. Truly insane. It's like the dev team was in tune with you all out there. Like, hey, this is what we need. This is what we need. And we got it. No, you never digress. With me, this entire show is a digress. So this is all popping up on ESPN. Best bet on ESPN this here over at Sugar House. This one, $8.88. You see anything you like? Jump in. Sign up. Here's the beauty of it. We're still running this incredible deal. Still with this insane deal where you can get 68% off your first month. And by the way, you're going to get a free trial. So 68% off your first month and a free 7-day trial. Free week. That's it. As simple as that. The link is just posted below at Chandra Bets. Dance is the code. Make sure you use dance. All right, shall we bet one? Let's see. I can only have all of these. Can only bet at MGM. No, pardon me, DraftKings. This one over here, DraftKings. Let's go back. You know what? Screw it. Let's do one that I can bet with you. This is it. You go to generate parlays. We're going to build a portfolio. I'll show you how you get here in a second. I'm going to open up a little bit, and I'm going to ask for 25. All right. I'm still going to do 4 on my limit placed count, but I'm going to do 5 legs. Maybe I'll do 5. Maybe I will. Okay. I'll do 5 here to open this up. Now let's see if we can make this thing breathe. Here we go. Plus 35.06 right away from the jump. You see how this thing works, right? And we added that 5th leg. So I'm doing 5 legs, 5 limit. Let's see what we can snag here. Lofty's got the snipe session. We got the snag session. And yeah, so let's do this, right? Banna mentioned the profit boost. You can enter the profit boost in here. So do we have a profit boost, let's say, for FanDuel? And we can apply that. Let's say it's a 30% profit boost, right? So you can see the difference, right, as far as what this should be with the 30% profit boost. Oh, my goodness, man. This is just fascinating. Truly fascinating. Now, the parlay builder is going to build it specifically for the book. This is just going to put all of your top bets together. So there are different means to the same end. Yeah, you got the okay, hump day. There we go. 30% with the parlay profit boost. All right. So on FanDuel, this is it. We've got 3 legs, same game parlay plus. We'll build that. I don't have anything popping on FanDuel for my specific portfolio. That's fine. But we need a show parlay here, right? We need a show parlay. So we're going to go with this one. Plus 30-34, Carson Wallace, Vooch, Markkanen, Halliburton, Braun. All right. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? It's the second parlay. Hit the bet now button. It will put it immediately into your slip. It's doing that right now for me. You see? What was left over here? Dylan Brooks? Something was left over. We didn't clean up our mess. Here I am telling my son, not to be a litter bug, and we didn't clean up our mess. What a disaster. All right, so now if I go back and share it, you should see, there we go. All 5 are in there plus 30-10. I got to clean up my mess on my end too. This is just life-changing. Your life is now incredibly easier when it comes to betting parlays, when it comes to just generating parlays from the jump, but now betting them. And as we mentioned, there are 2 separate means to the same end here. Oh, this dipped just a little bit for me. You bastards got in there at the right time. Limited to $5, but you know what? I'm going to do it. So that's our show parlay right there. Again, this is it. This is what you see with the Generate Parlay Builders. All right, Ben Raza. Oh, we got to do something about that layout there, man. Hold on.
Oh my God, look at this. There's a big phone in my way.
I know. That's not right. There we go. That's a little bit easier, I think, on the eyes. What's up, Ben?
Friends, how we doing?
I didn't get through anything more besides, of course, dance, right? We can put it up there once again. Dance. But I don't think I did anything more. By 10:16, I usually have 3 things done. And I'm so wrapped up in this brand new parlay builder. In fact,
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the old one here so people can actually see this on the screen. But the generate parlays, I can't get enough of this. Like, I feel like I'm going to sit on this tool all day. Now, we have other things. I feel like it's the Seinfeld episode with the tip calculator where you're going to come on and be like, it does other things. But it's just amazing. Like, Banna is in the house. We got a lot of folks here who are just absolutely in love with these updates.
Yeah, I mean, listen, shout out to our devs. It's been a long time coming. One of the most popular requests in our Discord, where all our members help to craft these tools, are, I have boosts every day. What do you recommend for the parlay boost of the day? I got this, 3-pointer boost, 30%. And this is the type of thing we can really automate that process. We can make it so parlays merge with the concepts behind PortfolioEV. So you're getting a lot of volume. Now, your dollar amount on parlays is going to be very low because we know how high the variance is. But as someone who has been known to throw in some round robins, some parlays into the portfolio, I couldn't be more excited to try this out and see what it can do. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and we'll just walk through it one more time as we built those same settings.
Look at this.
It's like I was explaining this, and I think you can explain it / correct it, but you still are paying whatever it is. Like, there are parlays within, right, for a round robin where you have to hit a couple in order to maximize returns. So you're basically working around that, but you're still applying where it's like, okay, in this case, I have 5 legs, no more than 5 limit, right? As far as I won't get more than 5 parlays per player within this. And it's just all separated, yet each one is unique. And there's a significant range, as you see. Now, this is based off my specific portfolio, so I don't have a ton available. But you can see there's anything ranging from 24.89 all the way to 29.64. We mentioned that too, right? Like, you can apply. Okay, we have a 30% profit boost. Mike might be muted. Hold on.
All right, there. You got too excited.
It did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes if you tap this button on the end of the mic, it absolutely mutes. The plus minus on SPF level that Ben and Aton need to use now, since they're clean shaven. Joey B set that at 45.5.
I mean, I don't need to use it because I don't go outside, but for you, I'd recommend that. You got to watch out for those. Yeah, make sure you wear that sunscreen, friends.
It's great. So there you have it, man. The expected EV launches when you add the Bruce. I think this is one of the most underrated updates that we've applied, right?
That's the key, because a lot of times I talk about this in my Discord a lot, where you actually can find, again, if you have 3, 4 plus EV legs and you parlay them, you're in good shape no matter what. You add a boost, you're in tremendous shape. We know that. But with the boost, you're going to see that something that's got an OS rating of, say, 1 with a very small margin suddenly becomes a really powerful bet because of the boost. And we wanted to illustrate that for people that say, you know what, there's not a lot on the board, but should I use this boost? The answer is going to be yes, if you can find parameters that are even close to 0, or even, I mean, this is something we're talking about. there are cases where you would actually take negative EV bets if that was all that was available, if the boost was big enough, because the boost does the work to cross that threshold.
Yeah, I think to your point, something that we've illustrated a lot on this show is same game parlays. And
Those are
right,
dangerous. Yeah.
because you'll never get a plus return on the actual build. The parlay builder will show you, and look, we can even go through that as we speak, because I think we have a 30%, or at least I do, right? It's going to be capped at like $10, but who cares?
It adds up.
30% same game parlay boost on FanDuel. So we go to FanDuel here. I know you've got a busy day, man, as far as hoops is concerned. And I feel like Matt Gajewski is probably the human being that you've seen more in the past 2-3 days and will continue than anybody, including May, right? At this point.
Yeah, I mean, no one's. I'm secluded in my little dungeon,
Right.
trying to build brackets. But yeah, listen, same game parlays are different because there's correlation tax, and you can see even I honestly, if you've been doing same game parlays and your results kind of aren't where you thought they'd be, it's probably because of that. You have to be really careful with those. I'm not saying you can't ever do them. Obviously, people could do what they want, but those are not the same as static parlays with static payouts.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And yeah, I mean, look, I think this is a great point, Red Eye 377. Ben is always a great resource, not only for you all, but for us internally, right? I know Lofty and countless others who work here will agree. And this is it, right? Like, you deal with variance, you go through it. March, the first 14, 15 days of March were insane for me.
Yes.
And then things just started to pick up. But you know what changed for me, Ben, and specific Red Eye 377? Like, do you know what changed in the last 3 or 4 days where I'm now up about, 28, 29 units in the month? Nothing. Nothing. I went
That's
through
the
the
key.
same exact process. I applied my bankroll that I invested each night. I went and made sure that everything was plus EV from the standpoint of the market based and where I was beating. And I was just constantly, I was using the mass entry tool on places I was limited. DraftKings, sometimes it's $4, sometimes it's $22. Who cares? Get down as much as you possibly can, and you'll see that turn around. This process, Ben, is designed so that you don't go through long-term variance.
No, that's where the volume comes into play because again, a day, I talk about that a lot. A day is just an arbitrary amount of time. Like if you bet 500 bets in one day or 500 bets in 1 week, the variance is going to be the same. It'll just be in a shorter time span. So the chances that you are losing for day after day with 500 bets is incredibly low. Whereas if you only bet, look at me, I do a video, Ben's best bet of the day. I give out one pick. I love doing it, but I think we could all acknowledge I could go a full 6 months. That's only 180 bets. I could go 120 and 60 or 60 and 120. It's pretty random at that point. So the goal is always to just keep pressing those edges, get some volume, smooth it out. If you want less volume, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just know that your results will be more randomized because you just simply don't have the sample. Yeah, 382. That's what I'm talking about. Red Eye. I mean, this is a seasoned vet. He knows what he's doing. That's the type of volume that you're going to get. You're going to get pretty good results from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, this is fantastic, Red Eye, to see this. We also had OB earlier in the show, Ben, before you popped in, who referenced, what he was doing up 25, pardon me, from February 19th to today. And it's just, we love to see this because we use it, we push it. It's not something where it's just like begrudgingly, what have you, or scamming, and you could tell it in our eyes. By the way, do you see this? I again, like, I have to move us because we're in the way here.
Yeah, flip us. I don't know what that did, but why not?
No. I'm going to move I'm going to move us like this. Hold on. Jeez. This is like terrible production on the fly here.
Look at you.
All right. There we go. Do you see this? Not to be understated, not to be ignored by any means, but Michael, we'll get to you in a second. The short answer is no. The long answer is you're better off that it doesn't.
We
But
are adding, for what it's worth, we are expanding to some of those markets, just so you guys
is
know.
that right? Bet
Yeah.
US is in the house?
Again, we're constantly tweaking some things. So even if you're, what I would say with that, there are some things, books where it's not integrated and stuff, where you could still use it with the true odds, though. Don't forget that. You could take true odds and apply it to anything. So
Correct.
it's
Great
still
point.
very powerful. But yeah, we are looking to add more books from a variety of sources.
Well, one
Just
thing that is added, and I mean, this is perfect, right? Because we've got another night of create a bracket before the
oh, yeah.
real things start. But look at that. UCLA is popping. College basketball is popping. I'm in PA. This is off what I can bet. My settings right now are Pennsylvania. I cannot bet player props in Pennsylvania
Me
outside of
neither.
Profit X. Hint, hint. But all I'm saying here, as far as more people books that we need, Ben, but UCLA, we're getting it here on FanDuel at minus 205. The true odds for this are minus 211. Right away, we know there's right about a 1% edge. We've talked about this countless times. You have a great thread about applying the same mentality into a mass entry when a 150 GPP tournament as you would here, a 1% edge compounding over time. Like, it's insane. That's what's part of this approach. But the short, again, response to the updates is more college sides, more college totals. I can't imagine that you have UCLA going down from an originator standpoint, but if you did, I'd stay away from it. I wouldn't add it to the parlay.
Yeah,
It's
it's a weird.
plus EV from a price standpoint.
That's a weird game tomorrow. I don't really know what to make of Utah State, to be honest. We'll see. I think that's one of the more fascinating games tomorrow amongst many, but I keep an eye on it. And we're just always looking for new markets. The key to the markets, just to give you guys some insight, is us having the team. What they do before we release this stuff is ridiculous. We're not going to get into the secret sauce, but let me just tell you, we don't just say up new market. Like,
Right.
how they build these historical databases and how we get these true odds so accurate, it's pretty crazy. So we're looking at that. To Marco's point, it is international break in soccer, but soccer is a sport that we're looking to add a lot more domestic leagues than international, just because international gets a little weird with the nations. I will say, if you want, this is not from Portfolio EV.
No, we want your brain here. Look, I know you're probably going to pop on with Law Feed later. You're going to do your own thing. You killed your live stream yesterday. Go out and check that out at JazzRaz DFS. If you haven't seen it, it's all relevant information for Thursday heading into the bracket. But I mean, I feel like our CEO or anybody who is aware of what I'm doing here would scold me if I didn't use your appearance to at least get one or two plays from the mind of Raza, right?
I mean, you say that, and then you don't understand what I'm about to say. You're going to be like, I wish I didn't say that, because
No.
there
Nothing
is
could be more egregious than what I
bad.
did with the 12, 13 seeds. I promise you that. Take it away, please.
No. You don't understand. So it's international break in soccer, which means qualifiers and stuff. I will say there is African world qualification today, and there's some real lopsided matchups. Cameroon plays Eswatini, also known as I call them Swaziland. I think that's a 4-1 type game if you're looking for something like that, Marco. But that's next level. The reality in real life, EPL, Bundesliga, La Liga, stuff like that. Keep an eye out on OddsShopper, because those markets, corners, things like that, they can be beat. But
So
Cameroon today, don't hate on Cameroon.
I look, I wouldn't even know where to break this out. This, by the way, is the parlays. You see it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and bet this now. I'm going to add, it's at plus 1067, right? But I'm going to add this as our boost as well. Look, I don't know. See, amazing, right? It's at plus. Watch what happens as you try and comprehend Ben Raza just breaking down Cameroon soccer. I thought you were going to go with a big upset, right? Like Auburn out in the first round,
No.
something like that. But instead, you went Cameroon. We're waiting on Facebook.
And like I said, I'm sure I'll be making the rounds today. All of us, from content over in Discord to on X to YouTube. If you have questions for me and Eitan, we're both going to be around. And I just want to say again, these trials, what we're doing, come and get, again, when you sign up for Dance, I just want to reiterate, you get a free week. So if you sign up and you say, man, this is just not for me, I feel that's going to be doubtful, but you have a free week. You have a full runway to check this out. So there's no harm in signing up and testing it. And if you say this is awesome, well, now you got a full month for 68% off. So I want to reiterate to people, come and give it a try because, one person says that they're winning. You say, okay. 5 people say, okay. We have hundreds of people all saying the same thing, that this is transforming the way they bet. Not all of them are wrong. I'll just leave it at that. So I really think it's worthwhile to check out, and I couldn't be more excited to test out these parlay enhancements myself.
Awesome, man. Fantastic. What am I doing wrong that I can't see the book itself on the top tab there?
What do you mean?
I'll ask you off the air.
Okay. What is OS rating? So OS rating is just kind of like a combination of some of these other stats. So it kind of takes in the expected win percentage, the expected edge, the line itself, the X win, and it gives you a number just to kind of put context into how strong a bet may be. The higher the OddsShopper number, technically the better the bet. I don't think you need to search out 30 odd. I set my portfolios usually at 2 for most of them, sometimes 1 if I'm very confident, but it just shows you kind of a all-inclusive number of how strong a bet is.
Look, if an idiot like me can take 15 minutes of my time yesterday, I had in-laws, I had 2 kids, I had the wife coming down on me.
I have none
I
of
had
that.
Ben Raza, like, when are you going to get this thread out? I had Jordan Frank, can you update Monday? I had multiple stand-ups for different departments. My life was an absolute train wreck yesterday, and I still got down. I didn't even get down a ton of volume. But I got down enough. And of course, I hit that 25x, which helps. But that was from PortfolioEV too, so I can't even take credit for that, Ben.
Yeah, and what I'd recommend if you're new, you build out a simple portfolio, and you can set that OS rating to whatever you want. I'd recommend a 1 or a 2, and then the bets that fit that criteria will populate right for you in the top bets tool. Simple as that. I don't think it needs to be any more complicated. You get in our Discord. We have hundreds of people sharing their portfolios of, hey, I've had great success on FanDuel. Here's my portfolio. A lot of people do that in there, and that's really cool to get an insight of, like, what are you using? Like, I do that internally. Lofty gave me a DraftKings portfolio just the other day.
With me. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm limited there, and I'm like, okay, how can I make that happen? Yeah, I think honestly, Amy Joe, set up, sign up. You can DM me at ShanderBets. You can DM Ben at JazzRazDFS. You can DM Lofty at Lofty_D. We'll all help you. Greg, Nathan, anyone here. But again, start with us if you'd like. Take advantage, sign up, and we'll help you. Like, I'll help you build your first portfolio. We can show you how that works. We're supposed to get out of here at 10:30, but look, good question. This is what I love. Whenever you pop up, I get like 1 or 2 good questions because I have a really good community here. But we're interested in busting stones, and Joey B's talking about the SPF. You pop in, and then look, we've got Pete Shepard, Amy Joe. This is like solid stuff here. Look, I think, Ben, you've been really good at this, right? Use your own intuition.
Yeah.
And try to figure out why you see something popping at a 42 OS rating, right? Like maybe DraftKings really I've had this before where Caesars was hanging something at plus 400 and every other book was at like plus 300. And that really bumped up the rating. But I went to Caesars. I hit the bet now button. I went to see and I went to check. You can check at Pinnacle. You can absolutely do some extra work. If you see something at like 89, chances are that's something that's a bump in the machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's, there can be news. What I would say is this. What I do typically.
No, it's the opposite. It's me, Jose. Real quick. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, no problem. What I do with situations like that, if I see it, I may bet it, but I will flat my units. So one of the things I think you need to be most careful about with that, if it's, say, an OS rating of 42, the recommended bet size is going to be quite high. And I don't know if you need, again, people are free to do whatever they want. I may take a position, but not a position of that magnitude. So then if it turns out that it's a result of injury news, first mover advantage, things like that, it's one of 100 bets and I won't even feel it. But it's not a bet that stands out for me because typically books are not that big of discrepancy. Now, with these new updates, we may see some of that, but I still believe ultimately you don't need to get crazy if you see something like that. More often than not, you're going to see it regress a little bit.
Look, this is, I think, a good example here, right? Like this is at an 18%
Yeah, that seems
OS
reasonable.
rating. Absolutely reasonable, right? 5% EV. Again, like I can't, I got to get over on this thing. I don't know if there's a side menu or something, but I can tell that the edge clearly here is on Onyx, right?
Yep.
And that's where it pops up. So you can see right away the reason why the OS rating is so strong is two reasons that Ben mentioned. First is you're just getting the number. Whatever the number is on the 4.5 out there, it's plus EV. That minus 154 is betting what this number should be. The other part of it is you're getting the best number. It's 4.5. Everywhere else has moved to 3.5. But I did use this example, Ben, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this real quick as we get out of here, which is just because something goes from under 4.5 to under 3.5, or over 8.5 to, or over 7.5 to, over 6.5, whatever it is, and works against you, it doesn't mean that it's still plus EV. And what I said to this is, if I gave you a pack of Oreos and I charged you only a quarter for 2 Oreos, and then I said, well, I'll give you 3 Oreos, but now I'm charging you $40 for 3 Oreos. You're still getting more Oreos, but that price is not plus EV.
100%. So there are two factors in any line. It's the number and the VIG. That's what people don't. A lot of times I get that situation where I bet something at minus 3.5 and someone says, oh man, the line moved to minus 5.5. So I bought it down to 3.5. So we got the same number. And it's like, yeah, but we didn't get the same juice. You laid minus 150 and I laid minus 110. That's a totally different situation. And it's the same with these props. Would you rather have under 5.5 or under 6.5? Well,
Yep.
I'd rather have under 6.5. But would I rather pay 10 times the price for under 6.5? No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have under 5.5 now. And that's why there are two factors of this, because you want to do that. Yeah. So the higher the OS rating, the better. But again, even an OS rating of 1 or 2 that's where you're going to get all that volume. And the key is the volume. So don't be afraid to take those.
All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to remind you one more time, because if we don't leave now, Ben's going to invoice the company for a full hour. All right. He is smiling, by the way. Here he is. All right. So thank you at JazzRez DFS. Follow. He's got a lot of college basketball content coming out. He alone and Matty G together. This is insane. The top 2 college analysts across the entire country, world, maybe, when it comes to laying bets. Universe. That's fine with me, right? We're still discovering new planets out there.
We're going to Mars if you get a perfect bracket or something.
There you go. And which you will. You've got the best chance.
That's right on my list of things I want to do. I won't go outside.
But we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. 68% ends tonight, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. It ends. So jump in now. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern.